And good to have you here on The Pulse. The housing crisis in Ghana has become a complex issue with many contributing factors. The country is currently experiencing rapid urbanization and population growth, which has led to a shortage of affordable housing in urban areas. Additionally, there's a lack of financing options for low-income individuals and families, making it difficult for them to access affordable housing. One of the main causes of the housing crisis in Ghana is the lack of investment in the construction of affordable housing. Most of the housing that is being built is targeted towards the high-end market, leaving many of the low-income earners and families without access to sustainable housing. We hear, of course, on The Pulse today, ways by which Ghana's housing crisis can be addressed. Joining us in studio now is the Executive Assistant of JL Holdings, Dr. James Lindsay. Great to have you in studio with us, and it's such a pleasure to have you talk about this because you are the experts going into the field and knowing what our challenge is. But when you look at the landscape and what's happening across Ghana, where do you see the crisis starting from? What's your diagnosis of the problem?
Well, the crisis is straight away from the urban areas, because there are a lot of migration towards, the urban areas, obviously because of the lack of proper jobs and stuff like that. And because of that, we have also not made provisions for it. And so unless we take urgent steps, it will still continue. But then the point is, I always say, how affordable is affordable? Is it ability to pay or inability to pay? I mean, we have to find a fine balance.
Yeah.
So that is where the problem starts from. It starts from our lack of money or access to money to pay. Because look, if there's money to pay or money to purchase homes, I can assure you, people will be there to build it. So straight away, that's where we have find out the problems. But there are several other factors.
Right.
I mean, there are several other factors. See, there's no clear governmental approach to solving this problem. That's clear governmental approach. There are governmental approaches, and I can tell you, in 2005, we started this affordable housing scheme. By 2009, it has been truncated. Again, it was started again somewhere along the line in 2014, thereabout. And then, as well as I did, I do now what has happened to Saglemen.
Right.
It's all its associated problems. So it is a clear path to solving the problem. And well, I founded JL and I still work at JL, and as the city's leading developer, I know a bit or two about what is happening. But then, if there is no clear plans towards, creating homes, building homes to solve that problem, it will move to unsustained levels. I mean, people, some say UN says it's 5.7 million, but then at Greta we say it's 2 million. Just look at the gap.
The numbers keep shooting.
Changing, and there's no consistency. That should tell you we are not even doing anything to get
a solution.
So
and in fact, there are some staggering figures that we've been taking a look at. For instance, the Statistical Service has been pointing out to how the issue of affordable housing is of concern. So, for instance, here's what we have. That housing deficit that we have it now is, of course, rating somewhere around 30% of the monthly or annual incomes of a household. Most of it is spent on issues of housing. So that tells you how much it's taking. Then, for instance, you're looking at the population, for instance, the deficit, if you want to call it as such, shooting all the way from 1.7 million, somewhere in 2010, docked to 2 million. And that's troubling that it keeps growing.
It keeps growing because I say it's an artificial deficit. If somebody's getting 3,000 cedis, and the rent amount is 1,500. Half of the
money is gone.
Transportation, food, children's school fees. So until we get an income that is befitting of the work we do, and also until we put in the work we are expected to put in to get the income.
Yeah.
But then who starts what first? Is it production inputs before you are paid well, or you are paid well before you know? So that is where we are now. Again, I keep on saying, government should play a leading role. You know, look, private developers are doing a hell lot of work, but if infrastructure is not meeting development, nobody wants to go anywhere further than a certain point. I can use Accra as a case point. Accra has an imaginary line.
Right.
Anything on the Nsawam Accra Road, anything on the left, on the right is less expensive than anything on the
right.
Right, and because we have set a certain mindset, so straight away houses on one section becomes more expensive.
Right.
Again, nobody wants to move to the outskirts of the city. In places where the city is well planned, you do satellite places, satellite towns.
Where people can just move.
Then move back. But then here again, commuting is a big
I was just about going to that. The traffic situation.
Commuting.
Yeah.
If you spend 2 hours in the morning and another 2 hours, 4 hours of your day is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
How do you survive this? So it is we need to have a complete sit down to have a proper solution to this housing problem. Otherwise, it's going to become a problem.
But why are we not talking about how most of the property management companies that we have, the real estate companies, targeting only a certain class within our space? Because the belief is it's more lucrative when you target that aspect.
It's purely financial.
Right.
It's purely financial. But then, if you see, these are businesses that needs to survive in this tough space, and it's purely you need to get your business standing and strong before you can even think about affordability.
Right.
That is why we decided last November that look, we're going to do 10,000 houses in 10 years. Half of it will be in the affordable space but then the fact is that how affordable is affordable. Look at what has happened now to material cost. Look at the cement situation.
It's gone up.
Yeah, it's gone up. Look, even now, things that we get even straight from here has gone up. Quarry dust, all because equipment and stuff that is used are becoming expensive. Quarry dust is from here for the blocks,
right.
You know. But so these are things that it has to, and you know, housing is part of a person's life. A good housing it should not be a necessity. You know, it should be something that is available.
Yeah.
And these are things that we are not looking at, and it's tough for me as a housing specialist. When I think about it, I feel sad for this.
And the situation we believe will be dire for someone who's starting out in life, for instance, because this is someone who, first of all, will have challenges with access, and even if you get one, then the pricing, the cost to it becomes a challenge.
See, but it's a mindset thing too. I mean, I should be the first to admit.
Okay.
I mean, I always preach and tell people, don't think about owning a big home all at once. Get a small house, not even a small apartment, one bedroom apartment, but fixed well.
Okay.
And then when you progress in life, you can then change to a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, and then if God blesses you and grace finds you, you can have a mansion. But people just set out to say, oh, I'm building my own home. Wrong concept.
Right.
Wrong. Because you put your savings in there, you can't finish. So you need to balance that. It's very key. That is why I'm saying it's a mindset change. We need to, when you go to Francophone West Africa, or where JL, we are doing businesses there, you see, they believe in the apartment concept. They believe in starting small. They believe in renting a small space and then growing. Here, you see a young lad. He just got into the financial space. He's at the bank, something. He wants to get a 3-bedroom.
Because that never-ending debate comes up in Ghana. Building or renting, which one suits best? No,
it depends on your pocket. It's very important. But it's not because I'm in the space, but I would tell you, if you try to build your own house, at the end of the day, it will cost you more because you will not get all the money to build. you would start, and then you demobilization from your construction site, mobilizing back
Again,
at all cost.
yeah.
The time you go, there's the land tenure problems, which is affecting this particular our housing deficit, because a lot of housing issues are in court and all that. So if you find a good real estate developer, you buy from the developer, I can assure you is the surest way to go. Again, one of the problems that we have that is not helping us is the fact that our secondary housing market is not really strong. Secondary housing, I mean, there are cities in this country that when you try to sell your house, the house that you're living in, they think you are broke.
Right.
Nobody will buy. It's traditional. It's ingrained in their mind. And so it's all a mindset thing, as I keep saying. If our secondary housing market is strong, a young lad could buy a small house, and then once he develops, basically in the pocket, sell and buy a big one. But the moment you say you are selling a house, straight away it's like a stigma. So there are small things
building up into the bigger
to,
portion.
We need to work on that. We need to work on. But
let's talk about government policy, because it's also crucial in this whole equation. We've seen, for instance, a current intervention that's been run where government is attempting to aid the youth to rent through some schemes that we have with the banking system. Do you feel that's one of the precise ways of tackling
it's
the
good, but it's too little,
problem?
too late.
Okay.
Too little, too late. It's good. It's a marvelous idea, but I mean the space was consulted to, but it's too little, too late. We need to do something.
I feel it should be bigger. That the intervention is not
bigger.
strong.
Look, like again, if for instance you could create something outside the city of Accra, outside the city of Kumasi, outside the city of Cape Coast, to then get people not to migrate towards the city center. Number one.
Right.
Number two, why don't we get a certain form of financing? You choose top 30, top 40 developers. See, for every luxury house you build 2 affordable units.
Right.
Something constant. But we're going to support you with, say, a bond issue. You get my point? Because look, since I came back from the UK, where I lived for a long time, and I entered the housing space, Accra is one of the cities, and I collect data is what I collect. It's one of the cities that house has appreciated for the last 25 good years.
Never coming down.
Now, in 2007, I was selling houses on Spintex Road for something like 2-bedroom, 70 for $35,000. Now, the same Spintex Road is $120,000. The same 2-bedroom, semi-detached. This is the city of Accra. So look at such developers, bring them on board and tell them we can do A, B, C, D for you. But then for every luxury apartment you are building in cantonments, airport, Laboni,
complement it with something affordable.
And then we are throwing in this. I don't know what government can throw in, but I have an idea. But then the point is that there's several things you can do, because if we don't address the lack of housing, is one of the biggest national security problems that we have. That's going to haunt us, whichever government it is. I would offer the advice anytime I'm called upon, as I keep on doing. But I'm saying we need to have a look at it and look at it. It's not about.
And maybe it's also about the opportunities. Don't you think so?
It's not really about making profit. For me, money is secondary. What matters most is what you do for your country. That's why I'm talking about it. It's one of the biggest national security threats. The homeless situation. And those who have ears would have to listen.
And I was just talking about the opportunities, because many are tilting towards Accra, expressing the desire to stay here because of the opportunities they'll get here. So how about relocating, planning a new city altogether? Decongesting or moving the various employment opportunities away from Accra.
That's what I'm saying. We have to create opportunities in other smaller cities and towns. That's one of the ways of doing it. No, because if you create a new city, say you go to Dodua as we had planned to do, and I'm sure it's still on the board,
right.
Dodua will still be choked. If you have not solved it from the grassroots, it will be choked. So why don't we spread the opportunities? Production goes to other places. Then you can build houses. But you see, how would I be able to tell a developer, look, go and build in say Wenchi, or go and build in say somewhere smaller? Why? Because the cost of material is the same. It's real estate or homes, still location 3. So the cost of cement is the same across board, or just yeah. So I'm saying, unless you create the opportunities for people to want to stay where they are, you and I know that at other places, when you go, somebody that never wants to move from Manchester to London. Right. What for? Because he's content.
But same cannot be said here.
No, content. Being content is one of the surest way to solve our housing problem. Being content where you are.
Right.
So it is what it is.
I see. But of course, your organization is also offering some opportunities, I guess. Yeah,
we basically we are doing 200 plus homes a year. But as I said, 10 years ago, we decided last November, when our 10th anniversary, we decided to do complementary affordable houses. What we do is, for every luxury home we're going to build, we're doing some apartments in the North Airport, and the rest we're going to do complementary affordable houses. But it's not enough. That's the truth.
A lot more needs to be done.
A lot more.
Doc, I'll take your final words to our viewers, and what would you like them to know about housing?
Don't think of building or buying a big house. Cut your coats according to your size. It's one of the cardinal principles in housing. If you are starting life, start with a 1-bedroom and then graduate to the top. And then also look for a good developer and buy a house from the person. Don't go and build in, say, Ebre and try to work in Kokumlemle. Yeah. When you do the maths, at the end of the day, it is too expensive.
Almost the same. Well, we need to have this conversation one more time. Dr. Lindsay, thank you for joining us here on the Journey channel. And